Hello guys and welcome back to the second episode of the Deloitte Women's Premier League magazine show, and today we have two new guests joining me, one of whom was in last year's episode. I'm very excited to of course introduce them in due course. But of course, before we introduce our two guests, I just want to remind you guys that you can catch all the highlights on the SG WPL Facebook page as well as SG Women's Football. Today I'm really excited to introduce my two guests, Sara Hayduchok from Tampines Rovers. Welcome, Sara.
Thank you so much. It's an honor.
Yeah, and of course Nadra Aqilah from Albirex Niigata, who was here. She's second time on the show today. I think it was 1 year ago that you were on the show.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to find out what your progress is. All right, Sara, let's start with you. Congrats on the league win.
Thank you.
How's that been? I mean, for you coming off that victory.
I think we had pretty high hopes to start the season, and we are really excited about it. I think we produced the result that we've been working for a long time now.
Yeah, and of course, if you've just joined us, she's of course from Tampines Rovers and they're debutants in this year's WPL. So Sara, let's talk a bit about your passion for football. How did it start? I'm sure many of us are interested about how you got into football.
Yeah, I actually started playing football when I was about 5, kind of following in my brother's footsteps. In the US, it's one of the first activities most people try because it's so accessible and affordable, and I just stuck with it. But when I graduated high school in 2013, I actually never thought I would keep playing. I stopped for about 5 years until I returned to my education and transferred unis and then started playing and haven't looked back since.
So tell us where you're from. You said you're from the States. Which part of the States?
I'm from New Jersey.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just south of New York for those who don't know.
I know like from Jersey Shore, the show.
Oh no!
The best show ever.
You know, I didn't think that would make it this far across the world.
It has made I think headlines for all the wrong reasons. But I mean, don't check out the show, I guess.
Right.
So Nadra, I got to ask you. And I think you've been recovering from an ACL,
Yeah.
I believe, right? So how's the recovery going? What's the update on your life at the moment?
It's been maybe six to 7 months already. So I had a couple of complications in between. So what happened was after the first 3 months in my first operation, right? Something went a little bit wrong. So there was something stuck in my leg and my knee. It's called the scar tissue. So it built up and it affected my range and all that. I was suffering through the pain. Wow. It was very difficult for the first 3 months. And then later found out that I actually have to go to another surgery. So that made my progress delayed a little bit. So instead of me having to run now, I'm actually a step back. So It's pretty hard, but I think it's still progress for me. So it's I'm not going backwards, but it's either I'm stagnant or I'm moving forward. So it's not too bad, yeah.
So Nadra, just to recap, you had to do 2 surgeries.
Yeah.
What was the within 3 months? Was that the time gap?
So I counted it as weeks lah. It was a little bit easier to count it as weeks. So 17 weeks, then I went for another surgery. So that's about 3 months.
Wow.
So 3 months in, I went for another surgery, and then now it's 3 months after. So I did it before the year end. So it's kind of great because I dealt with the issue before the new year starts. So
yeah. So clean slate?
Yes.
When can we expect to see you back in action for Albirex?
I think it's pretty hard to say, but I'm hoping that we can come back maybe in July before the second round, perhaps.
Yay!
Yeah.
So, send all your messages of encouragement to Nadra. I'm sure she would like to hear from you guys. Of course, we'll be rooting for you.
Yes.
And speaking of rooting for you, Sara, I think we as well are really excited to see how Tampines perform this season. Can you tell me what's the vibe been, with you and the teammates?
I love it. It's been such a fun vibe. We're such a mixed group of age and culture and experience, but overall very high energy, which means we have a lot of fun, but we also work really hard. So we're excited.
A lot of fun. What do you guys do off football to hang out?
Makan!
Makan.
So what do you enjoy? I mean, you've been here a while now. What's your favorite local food that you like?
Oh man, Chinatown Complex, top notch.
Really?
Second floor. I love the food there. It's how I treat myself.
So, okay, name me some dishes that you like from local.
Okay, I'm bad at the Chinese names, but I really love the glutinous rice balls with sesame or peanut in ginger soup.
Okay.
Wow, and popia.
Wow, Popia. Wow, she's very close to being a local actually, Sarah. So we hope to see you here, still in a couple of months or so.
Me too.
Okay, so what are you hoping for the season? I mean, obviously we've got the WPL title the first time. I'm sure you guys want to win it, but it's not going to be easy, right?
Right, yeah, I think that's what is keeping us motivated for so long now. JSSL has really invested so much in us with our preseason tour and training facilities, and I think that we really want to just reciprocate and kind of pay it forward now for all of the investment they've made in us.
So you spoke about training facilities. Where do you guys train? Can you share?
The JSSL, I don't know what you call it. We call it facility.
Is it in Serangoon?
It's right close to Serangoon, in between there and Woodley.
The arena, right?
The arena.
Yes,
Yeah.
the arena.
Nice pictures, yeah. It's a nice vibe.
And we actually partner with Solitude of Strength, which has their complex right next to us. So we train weightlifting, strength and conditioning there. Yeah.
Nice. So it's like the whole thing, the whole package.
That's right.
Really cool. So Nadra, I understand as well, besides being a player at Albirex, you have taken on a new role as a team manager, am I right?
Yeah.
So what's the experience been like for you? You're learning new things perhaps?
A lot of new skills that I picked up. There's a lot of things like the back-end staff do behind the scenes. So you kind of understand their perspective in arranging for the players, for the staff, even small things like photo shoot for headshots, that kind of thing. So I would say that they do a lot of pretty tedious stuff. So it makes me have that gratitude and appreciative of their work and efforts to actually keep the team together. And not many people actually know what they do. So now that I'm in their shoes, it makes me oh, okay, I understand where they're coming from, and I feel what they feel sometimes, when players don't follow you or something like that. So yeah, I think it makes you appreciate other people's job more. Yeah. So.
But question is, would you consider a role like that in future?
I think I would, but obviously it's not my top priority. I would want to come back to playing, but I mean, if it doesn't work out that way, then it might be something that I might fall back to. So maybe a team manager role or coaching role, anything that involves me being a part of the team, being on the bench with the team, still feels like, it kind of feels like home still. So
Right, it feels like home. Jurong East is home. It's
Jurong East is home for the Swans. Yes.
Sarah, Tampines is a new team and all. So I wanted to ask you, what do you think sets you guys apart from sailors? From the time you've been here and you've played and seen the other teams. What makes you think? What makes you guys unique? You think compared to the others?
I think JSSL has a pretty nice streamlined program with a lot of international players, and I think that that's really added a nice dynamic. But I think as a team, just specifically our unit, we're really driven. I think we have a lot of competitiveness that flows through our veins, and it's really pushing us.
So we just finished the first week, guys, and of course Tampines had a fantastic win over your eastern rivals, and you guys can check the highlights in a bit. But I want to ask you before that, who are the biggest contenders you think in the league? Who should we be looking out for? Who would you guys be looking out for?
I think, of course, LCS being reigning champs, that's always, you can't ever assume that they won't be a high contender. I think Police is another big one, and Albirex as well. I'm honestly a little bit less well-versed in the league as other players might be, so...
No, but I think a couple of players have been on the show and spoken the similar teams as well. Nadra, for yourself, after the first week, I know you didn't play, but I'm sure you've seen how the other teams did.
Tampines is a team to look out for sure. I think they have great teamwork on the field. I watched their whole game and it's pretty intense. LCS champions, I think all the up and coming teams are on their way up there. But I'm pretty sure the competition is quite spread out right now. So
Really spread out.
Yeah, it's even, yeah.
Speaking of competition, guys, let's have a look at the highlights from week 1. And here are the standings from week 1. For both of you, I want to ask you, especially for Sarah, you're working with a very good coach in Tampines now, but what has been some of the best advice you received from any coach or person about your career in football?
One of my favorite lessons that I think applies to all of life is control what you can control. I remember the moments as a young player when I lost the ball and I would just get upset with myself, and my coach just looked me in the eye and was like, go get the ball back. And I think that's really driven me, because we all make mistakes, but we need to pick ourselves up and push through them.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic one.
Yeah.
Nadra,
I think for me would be, someone said that failure is a good thing, because even though you fail, it's actually not about that failure, it's about what you do and how you manage that failure. So it's always like what she said, like you control what you can control, but if you can't control it, then how are you going to manage, So it kind of like makes you appreciate all the things and still be grateful for what you have and make the best of what you have. So
wow, I'm so proud of you guys.
Yeah.
You guys have made separate sacrifices in your life. Sarah, you made a sacrifice to come here. Nadra as well in your career. So very inspiring from both of you. Speaking of inspiration, guys, before I wrap up, I just want to get you guys to give a message to all the young girls out there who are watching this and maybe want a career in football to be like you guys. So Sarah, we'll start with you first.
My top advice: pursue your dreams. And one of my favorite quotes from Mia Hamm, who really paved the way for women's football, is that the vision of a champion is someone who's bent over, drenched in sweat, at the point of exhaustion when nobody else is looking. So don't do it for anyone else, do it for yourself.
Oh, that's
wow.
That's very hard to beat. So give chance.
Not my words, Mia Hamm.
What a legend. I love her goal celebration, by the way. One of the best.
Right, I agree.
Okay, I think for me would be just to go for it. Don't be afraid to be different, and if you think you're weird, just do it. There's nothing that you can't do, and it's never too late to do it.
Wow, fantastic. Nadra and Sarah, thank you so much for joining me on the WPL magazine show, and of course I cannot wait to see you in action for Tampines for the rest of the season. And Nadra, all the best for your recovery as well, and keep doing your best for Albirex. So thank you so much, guys, for joining me, and of course do catch all the highlights and the live streams on SG Women's Football on the SG WPL page on Facebook. I'm Ash Hashim, and I'll see you guys next time.